The Astros ride a pair of clutch hits from Isaac Paredes this weekend to split a 4-game set with the Texas Rangers in Arlington in round 1 of the Lone Star Series. We've got a lot to talk about from this series as a whole. Jeremy Pena seemingly cooling off this weekend series, which resulted in him getting a day off in this weekend series. Plus, also some updates on Hayden Wesneski and also Yordan Alvarez. It's all coming up next. Stay tuned. First round of the Lone Star Series ended up living up to expectations. Pitching was dominant across both sides of the series. Offense, of course, the Rangers offense definitely, I think, did their job throughout this weekend series, if I'm being 100% honest. But like I said, starting pitching between both sides was dominant. This would honestly be a very fun series to watch had these two teams could meet in the playoffs this year. But let's break down the series. First things first, let's dive right into a couple of injury updates, starting with Yordan Alvarez. I was hoping that we would be seeing him at some point in this weekend series, maybe towards the end. But unfortunately, that was not the case. According to a team spokesperson, of all the interview requests that Yordan has gotten, he has declined every single one of them. And that's been the case for close to around 4 days, so pretty much this entire weekend series. I'm starting to become a little worried at this point, because at this point I'm betting that it's probably worse than what they had originally said, with it just being hand inflammation. If you take a look at how long that they had strung along Kyle Tucker's leg contusion last year in early June, before they had finally revealed in late August that it actually was a fracture that he was trying to heal up this whole time. It would not shock me if it's worse than that, because it's kind of been the case for us fans for the past couple of years, where they're just not really openly transparent on the severity of someone's injury. Which if it's for privacy reasons, that's fine, but we as fans really should deserve to know what's going on with our players, because it's telling me that this is a lot more that's wrong than hand inflammation on this man. He was hitting off of a tee this weekend, so at least he's able to grip a bat. Something would tell me that he might require a rehab stint before he's able to come back. The Astros still have one more leg on this road trip in Tampa, so I don't know if he's going to be rehabbing in Houston and then rejoining the team out in Tampa, or if he's just going to spend the whole week rehabbing, and then hopefully we'll see him this weekend when the Astros take on the Mariners. But that's my prediction. I don't think it's actually going to happen, but we'll wait and see. Lastly, of course, I'm going to save the worst of these two injury updates I'll be sharing for last. Hayden Wesneski, it was officially announced today that he will be undergoing Tommy John surgery, which will knock him out for the rest of the season. I'm sad, dude. Hayden Wesneski is now the fourth Astros pitcher since 2023 to have Tommy John surgery. The other three who have gotten it have not returned yet. It's something that I'm honestly a little bit worried about. But at the same time, right when I saw that he was going on the injured list with elbow discomfort, I kind of knew that in the back of my mind that he was going to be getting Tommy John surgery. I feel like this is the case for for not just the Astros, but Houston sports in general. We are so talented, but yet at the same time, we're just maybe just one little bad hit away, or just something in us is just waiting to snap, and then boom, out for the season. Now, although that's not necessarily the case for every Houston sports team, let alone the Astros, but like I said, dude, Wesneski is the fourth Astros pitcher that has gotten Tommy John surgery, or at least that's going to be getting it ever since 2023. Luis Garcia was the first person to get it that year. Then Christian Javier and Jose Urquidy both got it the following year, and now Hayden Wesneski. Not a good thing to be talking about this. And as a fan, there's just not much you can do about this. It's just flat out terrible. But seriously, is every one of our pitchers going to be undergoing Tommy John surgery at some point in their careers? At some point in this decade? I sure hope not. But, something tells me that this Colton Gordon call-up, we're probably going to be needing more innings out of him than we had originally thought. Hopefully it all goes well, and then, my guess is that we won't see Hayden Wesneski until next year either, because, given the fact that all of our guys who have gotten Tommy John surgery are still rehabbing, Luis Garcia, who was the first person, like I said, to have gotten it at first. He was supposed to return last year, but he had a setback in his rehab assignment, and we all know how that went. I can't even be 100% confident that he's going to be pitching this year, let alone Christian Javier. Like I said, just sad. But diving straight into the series itself, the first game of the series was a pitcher duel for the ages. Hunter Brown versus Jacob deGrom, a guy who is obviously still in his prime. he and Armstrong, I can't remember his first name was, for the Rangers, would shut out the Astros, with Jacob deGrom going 8 shutout innings. And Hunter Brown, although he would pitch a complete game going 8.5 innings, he unfortunately would get hit with a loss, as Jake Burger would provide the only run for the game for the Texas Rangers and for the whole game period, with a solo home run to right field that would ultimately be the one run that would be scored over the course of this game. So yeah, great pitchers duel. Hunter Brown pitched amazing, but was clearly outdueled by Jacob deGrom. The Astros were not able to score any runs off of the Rangers starting rotation, which to our credit coming in was the second best rotation in the majors in ERA. I mean, I guess that is reasonable. But at the same time, our approach to hitting in the plate has just been terrible, and that's something that needs to be addressed. And I mean, you'll hear me say that a lot throughout these videos. We need to change our approach to the plate, especially against these young pitchers, because this was the case in Sunday's game where Jack Leiter was flirting with a no-hitter. Just terrible. But anyway, sticking on track here in Game 2. The Astros, like I had said, the Astros, of course, would score all of their runs in the 7th inning of this game off of the Rangers bullpen. I mean, like I had said, the Astros did not score much runs against the Rangers starting rotation. Rather, it was their bullpen who they really teed off of, and probably the reason why that the Rangers were not flirting with a sweep in this 4-game set. Case in point, if it weren't for these 2 collapses by the bullpen, I would be talking about a 4-game sweep loss at the hands of the Rangers. Let's be honest. But this inning had started with Diaz grounding out to lead off the inning. Jake Myers would then single, and then Cam Smith would bat him home 2 batters later to make it 2-1 Rangers. And after Bruce Bochy would make a pitching change to bring in Hobby Milner for the Rangers, a wild pitch would move Cam Smith over to third base. Rather ill-advised, seeing that he was already in scoring position with 2 outs, but I guess the Rangers do have some good outfield arms. So, I mean, him being on third, I guess, is a guaranteed chance he would score on a base hit, whereas not really the case on second. But after walking Pena and Altuve, Isaac Paredes would come through with a 2-run double to put us up 3-2, a lead that we would not relinquish. And Christian Walker would finally snap out of his slump and that he was in and hit a 3-run blast to put us up 6-2. Josh Hader would give up a home run late to Josh Young to make it 6-3 Astros, but he would not allow any additional Rangers to reach base outside of that. So the Astros would go on to win this game 6-3, evening the series at a win apiece. But sadly for the Astros, their trends of alternating wins and losses would continue over this weekend, as despite them scoring in the first inning for the first time in what feels like an eternity, only their 8th run scored in the first inning all season. They would end up getting shut out the rest of the way, as the Rangers would score one more time, a couple of times, I think, off Fernel Blanco. They scored once in the third to knot the score at 1-1 at that time, but then they would score 2 more times in the 6th and twice more in the 7th to win the game by the final score of 5-1. But on Sunday, the Astros were able to pull off perhaps their biggest win of the season to this point on Sunday afternoon. And sadly, Joe Espada was stuck watching it from inside his office after being ejected in the 3rd inning on this pitch to Isaac Paredes, which, I mean, he has every right to argue this pitch, man. What the heck? Seriously, MLB, implement ABS already. The strike zone, mind you, in this game and for some of this series was just terrible. And granted, the umpires were calling balls and strikes incorrectly on both sides, so it's not like it was one-sided. But at the same time, man, we want ABS already. This stuff just cannot happen. I mean, if ABS was here, then Joe Espada would have been able to watch this thrilling win. That obviously didn't do much to him, though, to diminish his enthusiasm and excitement after the Astros had overcame that ejection and 6 2/3 no-hit innings from Rangers starter Jack Leiter to rally for a 4-3 win when Isaac Paredes had hit a 3-run blast with 2 outs in the 8th inning. So the 2-out lightning over this series proved to be the charm for the Astros in their 2 wins. Obviously very huge there. Trailing 3-1 in the 8th, Paredes had clubbed a 3-run blast with 2 outs off of Robert Garcia for his first road home run of the season. This all started with 2 bloop hits by Myers and Pena. And then after Chris Martin had came in to face Jeremy Pena, he threw just 1 pitch and something just did not feel right on him, and he was eventually removed and subbed in for an injury replacement, and then the rest is history outside of that. This Astros team has proven that they can rally this season. It's our 13th come from behind win this year, which is tied for most in the AL. During those rallies, we have nearly doubled up up and our opponents in scoring in the 7th inning or later this season, 64-33 as far as outscoring them. This team has proven that they can rally no matter what the deficit may be. Even without a big slugger in our lineup in Jordan, who we have been without for nearly 2 weeks, and we also had rested Jeremy Pena for the first time this season after he had played every single game and also every single inning for the Astros in the season to this point, which I can understand that you need to rest your guys, but like when you're trailing in your division, even if it's just for 2 games, you can't really rest your guys. I'm sorry. There are guys out there like Lou Gehrig and some other guys out there who play every single day. You really can only do that at late in the season. And then Josh Hader would not allow a base runner to reach for the Rangers, getting his 11th save of the season and securing the series split for the Astros in Arlington. All things considered, this was definitely a well-deserved series split for the Astros, a split that they definitely had to fight to earn, if I'm being 100% honest. But like the thing that we definitely need to be changing going forward this season is our approach at the plate. It is just not acceptable right now with us constantly swinging at 2 pitches. I mean, this had started in the game with us swinging at the first 2 pitches, both resulting in outs. I mean, case in point, that's something that needs to be changed. I mean, I'm all for aggressiveness, like I'd said, but it rarely ever pays off. And I mean, more often than not, it usually never results in hits. Altuve, of course, is often like this. And I think that approach just seems to change as, considering that he is aging. Like I said, that is something that I just hope to see change going forward. Or, hopefully at the very least, just if they're going to keep doing it, hopefully it just pays off for once. Like I said, good series. So hopefully we can wrap this road trip up on a high note in Tampa. And, I mean, despite us being in Tampa, we're going to be playing at the Yankees spring training facility with Tropicana Field still being damaged due to Hurricane Milton. I don't know if they were scrapped altogether or if they're just being put on hold or something like that. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure. But we'll see what this series in Tampa is in store for us. We've got Hunter Brown lined up to pitch the finale of this series. Hopefully we're going to see Jordan back in this series, but so far I'm not really counting on it, but until I see some official information about it. That's going to do it for this video, guys. If you liked it, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, want to watch any of my other videos, and click these cards here above my shoulders. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, like I said, and I'll see y'all in the next one.